So this was our house when we first bought it. It was kind of pitiful. I mean, it wasn't the worst, but it needed some help. We didn't have any walkway up to our porch. We were walking through the grass. We had no flower beds. The plants had all seen their better days. But here's the deal. We were going to transform this, and we transformed it on a huge budget. Y'all do not want to miss this video. If you have a home that you would like to remodel, but do it on a budget, you can make a big impact for just a little bit of money. We're going to talk painting the deck, landscaping, painting the shutters, plants, the whole 9 yards. So stick around because you do not want to miss this transformation. So Chris and I are both going to be doing this voiceover, and we have to start with the paver sidewalk. If you have subscribed to us and you followed us, then you might have already seen this tutorial, but we're going to do a quick run through of what we did, but you can see the full tutorial. So Chris, let them know kind of what we did here.
All right, so yeah, like she said, we basically didn't have any sidewalk. We were tracking dirt and grass into the house, and so we got started just basically digging up what they had, and I dug up for what seemed like a week all of this grass.
Every morning.
Oh, it took forever, and it was a lot of hard work. I don't like that part. So, like I said, this time lapse showed really quick, but it was a lot of digging. When we got done with digging out basically the width of the path, I got just some regular play sand, spread it out as even as possible with a rake, and then this part actually was satisfying. I used just a block of wood and a level and made sure that I got everything packed down as level as possible so our water wouldn't run towards the house, but it would run away from the house. And basically, yeah, it's getting dark.
Sun going down.
It took a little while.
This was some late nights.
It was a lot of late nights, early morning, but it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it came time to lay the bricks, we got the cheapest bricks possible, and I really think that they actually looked pretty good. Basically, I just laid them out in this pattern, and we kind of messed around with different patterns, and we came up with this. You just tap them down with a rubber hammer until you get them all nice and level. And then the edges, I will say, if you're going to do this project, the easiest thing you could do would be just to do straight 90-degree turns so you don't have to do many cuts or any cuts at all. Mm-hmm. But we decided to make it a curved walkway and basically had to cut everything.
We like to make it as difficult as possible.
So last step, this was also satisfying. This kind of sand, I think it's called polymeric sand, but basically you buy it in the paver section. You just sweep it in all the cracks, then you blow off all the excess, and so that way you don't get it on the tops. And then you just water it down, and it kind of sets up like concrete.
Look at that.
We're done.
Whew, and just when you finish one project, it's time to start another. There ain't no time to rest, y'all. So then it was time to go in to these flower beds. All right.
Look at that driveway.
Yeah, look at that gravel. Okay, it was horrible. We got a quote when we first moved in just to do asphalt, not even concrete. It was going to be $10,000 just for a driveway. So we had a dump truck of gravel come in, and that was only $1,000, and it looks so much better now. But let's get back to the plans. All that to say, DIY saves you a lot of money. But here's the thing about DIY. Sometimes you make horrible mistakes.
Yeah.
This is Chris digging up beautiful hosta plants that we thought were dead. We didn't know anything about plants. These would have come back beautiful. I know.
Wasted money. All right, so we're just going to use a garden shovel and take off the top layer of all this grass all the way around the house pretty much. And then we will lay tarp down and get it ready for plants.
So after we destroyed all the hostas, please learn from our mistakes and maybe go through a season to see what you have before you dig it all up. Basically, like Chris said, he did most of the digging.
Yeah.
But I carried most of it off.
Yeah, for the first couple hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mister. No, I did a lot of work.
You did. You're right. But not too much.
Okay. Then we went in with this edging right along where our gravel driveway was because there was really nothing to hold the mulch in. There still really is nothing to hold the mulch in. But we would definitely recommend this edging as well as this weed barrier. Mm-hmm. Absolutely a must. Then it was time to buy plants. We spent quite a bit of money on plants. We'll talk about that at the end. But we bought all perennials, and basically we just cut a slip into the weed barrier fabric, and then we put a little bit of good topsoil down at the bottom of the hole and then put the plant right where we wanted it. And that was pretty easy. I really enjoyed that. Then it was time for mulch. And this was really satisfying.
Yeah, I actually like doing this.
Yeah, it made it feel like it was really coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And it made a really big difference. So this was 2 loads of mulch. And we have pretty big flower beds, but how many loads of mulch do you think we had total?
Yeah, we did, I think it took 3 on the front left side of the house, and then I think we did 2 or 3 on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
So 6 loads total.
So then we went in with these soaker hoses to try and help with like watering, because we did not have time to come out here and hand water all of these new plants that we have now bought.
This was a nightmare.
Yeah, this was a nightmare. You can see us trying to unravel it. The soaker hoses do a great job, but they're a total pain to try and put down. Also, we learned the hard way, you're supposed to lay them before you lay the mulch. So this right here is how you do it. Yeah. We had to rebury those other soaker hoses on the other side. So once again, learn from our mistakes. But 10 out of 10 would recommend the soaker hoses. Now it's time to focus on the porch and the decor on the porch, the painting of the shutters, and all that good stuff.
Emily hated this barn red color since we bought the house.
Oh, I hated it. I also hated that you could see under the deck. So we went in with
lattice.
Lattice, that's what it's called. Thank you, baby. And then it was time to paint the deck.
Looks like chocolate milk.
It does look like a yummy chocolate milkshake from Steak and Shake. I would love that right now. Okay, so here's what our porch looked like. It was red, and I hate black and red, personally. It just doesn't feel cozy and warm and inviting. It just feels stark. But anyways, Chris has painted decks before, so here's a little explanation.
So first we're going to take paintbrushes and paint down in all the cracks and around all the edges and around everywhere that we don't want paint. And then we'll go back with the roller and roll all of the flat open spaces, and that'll go really quick. So hard part first. Getting it on the house, and honestly you may go inside and get you a wet rag in case you get it on the house. Looks like they got red on the house. But even if it drips, it's okay. You're just taking the brush and getting like that, getting all down at both sides of the cracks. So usually I would have used a roller on this part, but since our deck was so small and I had already done all of the cracks, I decided just to go ahead and hand brush.
I had done
yeah.
all the cracks.
Okay,
you
did. You're right, you did that part.
Yes, you did all the edging.
Then I went ahead and painted the rest of it just by hand with a brush, which didn't take too long just because it's such a small deck. But if you have a bigger deck, you could definitely use a roller.
And we had to do 2 coats. But it looked so good. And this really came together real quick. Like in 2 days, we were done.
No, I think like an afternoon.
Well, it was like 2 afternoons.
Okay, you're right.
So not even 2 full days. Okay, now let's talk about these.
Rocking chairs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We finish each other's sentences.
My parents gave these to us, which is so sweet. But they had also seen better days. The paint was chipping everywhere. The easiest way to finish rocking chairs is definitely spray paint. And I recommend starting with them doing the underneath first, get all of that part done, and then flip it over and do the top. So we basically just got a couple cans of this spray paint and sprayed it all white.
Then it was time to tackle the shutters. These are definitely like homemade shutters, and they felt very DIY to me, and I hated them.
Yeah, she was very against those,
Oh my gosh, I was so against these shutters. Look how dirty it was underneath that. Okay, but then I thought, well, maybe we can just give them a good coat of paint and give them a new look. And I'm really glad that we didn't just throw them in the garbage, because I do think that they look a lot better now that they are painted this green color. And this was a fun project too. I did most of this, I think.
Yeah, you painted the whole first coat. Yeah. I did the second, I remember.
Okay, good. So we halved it. Then there's these little panels in between our window that we painted. And then we painted our door. And this took 2 coats as well. And this made a really big difference as well. And so then after everything was dried, Chris hung the shutters back up.
Yep.
And then I went in and did some of like the finishing touches with some potted flowers and plants for the front porch. And then it was time to put everything back up on the porch and stage it the way that we wanted it. But before we have the grand reveal, let's take a little trip down memory lane and see where we started.
Oh, horrible.
It needed some tender love and care, and that's what it got. Y'all, look at it.
So much better
It's so much better. I love it. So, a couple things. The lattice made a huge difference. The paint made a huge difference, obviously. The sidewalk, I cannot get over that little stoop that they had at the bottom compared to what we have now.
Yeah.
You crushed that sidewalk, baby.
So much better.
It's so much better. Let's talk about plants. So all the plants that we planted were perennials. And I have to be completely honest, when we got them home from the store, they were in full bloom. They looked beautiful. And within a couple weeks, all the blooms were gone, and this is what they looked like. And I was sure that I had killed everything. Yeah, it was very stressful because the plants were a little bit of money. I mean, how much money did we spend just in plants?
I think $600 or $700 in plants,
which was more than I ever thought that we would spend. But I watched so many landscaping videos, and nobody talked about this until I planted these and reached out to friends for help. With perennials, see, look at that. Okay, they look better now, but all the hydrangea blooms look like that. Everyone told me that with perennials, it takes about 3 years. First year, they sleep. Second year, they creep. And third year, they leap. And they're starting to do a little bit better. But we're seeing the same things with our new hostas that we bought. Mm-hmm. Can you believe that we... Yeah. Some look good, some look bad. But I know that in time, they will all thrive and do what they're supposed to do. But that is something that nobody told me. And so I wanted to make sure that I shared that with y'all. And we definitely think perennials are the way to go because they come back every year, unlike annuals that die off. But the landscaping made a huge difference.
It's a different house.
Yeah.
It always amazes me how much just a little bit of paint can do. And honestly, this is like the cheapest part of the entire project. We did a couple gallons of paint, and we did the shutters, the door, the porch, the rocking chairs. It completely changed everything.
Yeah.
But speaking of budget, I am really proud. We did this entire outdoor project for the house for right at $2,000. So excited we stayed under budget.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Okay. Speaking of budget, I crocheted this little wreath instead of buying one, and I filmed a tutorial on how to do that on our channel. You can check that out as well. But y'all, we are so thrilled with how this turned out. We hope you loved this video, and we would love for you to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.